Hi, I'm Libby from NJACP, and I have Terry McKeon here, who is the CEO of Avidd Community Services of New Jersey, and I would say he's my go-to guy. He's on the board, he's on the finance committee, he's co-chair of member resources, he just stepped up as co-chair of the small and developing community providers, and an extraordinary individual who does extraordinary work every single day. I had the privilege of going out and visiting one of your group homes, which was terrific, and got to meet some of the individuals that you serve. Actually, I think I went to two group homes. Anyway, I want to hear, Terry, share a little bit about your organization and what you do and what it means to you to serve in your role.
I think for me, the motivation even in getting into the field is probably the same story that a lot of people in the field experienced, which is a personal connection. So when I was a young kid, we had Uncle Eddie. He was clearly developmentally disabled, and he never got any attention. He never got valued by my family. He was always in the back room of my grandmother's apartment, and we would sometimes say hello to him, but he would sort of stay isolated. And as I got older, I really began to value him because in the end, he became the caretaker for my grandmother. And he never got the credit. He never got acknowledged. He was always never mentioned. And he used to go to work and deliver newspapers and doing all sorts of stuff. And then when I became older, I put it in perspective that there's all these people out there with disabilities, and they don't get the respect, and they're not valued as members of society. And so for me, I was looking for a job that I could dedicate my life to, that I felt was doing important work. And that's what the connection was. So for me, working and developing Avidd Community Services is just a continuation of that. So when I began in the field, there was the Willowbrook decree and the big expose, and that just solidified my sense of, oh my God, there is a whole segment of our society that has been shoved away and not valued. And so I think working through, Avidd Community Services and being able to very clearly affect the lives of the people that are entrusted to us is a very wonderful and powerful feeling. Because, we'll talk with our families, and we'll talk with the individuals that we support and the people, who are our regulators. And as long as you stay within that value of making sure that people are treated respectfully and they're given what they need, to be independent, everything sort of falls into place. Families will say, oh, I didn't think about that for him or for her, but I think that makes sense. And they'll come along and they'll agree to, maybe doing some things differently with their family member. So, yeah.
Well, Terry, I would say I can't imagine, you talked about doing important work. The work that you do is incredibly important. And seeing, you talk about value, when I was visiting you and I was in a group home, it was really, when I walked into the group home, there was a whole trophy case filled with, and one of the individuals had just come off work. I think it was at the YMCA. She teaches at the YMCA. And of course, you knew her and she knew you and was so thrilled that you were there, in her living room. And I taught the relationship that you have shows with the individuals that you serve, show how much you value each one of them. And I think there is no greater important work than that. So thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for all that you do for NJACP. I certainly appreciate your leadership, your guidance, and your generosity in sharing all the work that you do with other members and being a leader in that space and a mentor to some of our smaller and more developing providers.
Yeah, well, as I was talking with them, I realized they were telling stories about some of the challenges they have in starting up their agencies, or in even in established agencies and they're trying to grow a bit or they're trying to add different kinds of services. And we've been, some of the folks that have been in this field for a while, we have a perspective about things that we can share that really help them put it into perspective and decide what things to really emphasize and how to focus on some things and don't worry about everything else.
Yep.
And that has helped them to some extent, for sure.
Well, I think here being at the conference, and that's so much of what we're going to be focusing on the next couple of days. And I know that you've been a key leader in developing the agenda for the conference, and I know it's going to be great because of that. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
We're excited.
I know, we are too. I was my first time, so but I'm thrilled and I appreciate all that you do for NJACP and certainly everything that you do for the individuals that you serve. So
Thanks,
thank
Libby.
you.
Yep, we're excited.